Let's speak English, Español, 日本語 live. Welcome, bienvenidos, yokoso. My name is Garrett, and I want to study and use languages with you. Me llamo Garrett. Quiero estudiar y usar idiomas contigo. 私の名前は Garrett です。あなたと一緒に言語を勉強して使いたいです。In this show, we will look at 3 questions that are great for conversation in English, Spanish, and Japanese. En este programa veremos 3 preguntas que son excelentes para conversar en inglés, español y japonés. この番組では、英語、スペイン語、日本語での会話に最適な3つの質問を紹介します。Then, we have 4 minutes to write our answers in the chat. Luego, tenemos 4 minutos para escribir nuestras respuestas en el chat. その後、チャットに回答を書く時間が4分間与えられます。Lastly, we have 4 minutes to write new questions in the chat by changing the original question. Por último, tenemos 4 minutos para escribir nuevas preguntas en el chat modificando la pregunta original. 最後に元の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書き込む時間が4分間あります。I look forward to studying and using languages with you soon. Espero estudiar y usar idiomas contigo pronto. あなたと一緒に言語を勉強して使えることを楽しみにしています。Good evening! Buenas noches! Konbanwa! Before we start, let's check this month's 365 language planets. So far, this month we have 11 planets. Take Agnor, Yuka, K Workshop, KE, A Highbridge, Takanona, Disney, Charming, Tetsuro, Takesh, and Kan Mama. Way to go! If you want to become a 365 language planet, all you need to do is share an idea in the chat. So, let's begin! Empecemos! Hajimemashou! The first question of tonight's show is, do you want to travel to anywhere this year? In Español, ¿Quieres viajar a algún lugar este año? 日本語で、今年はどこか旅行に行きたいですか? Now, you have, please write your answer in the chat. Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. チャットに答えを書いてください。You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。Do you want to travel to anywhere this year? Please write your answer in the chat. ¿Quieres viajar a algún lugar este año? Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 今年はどこか旅行に行きたいですか? チャットに答えを書いてください。 All right, charming. Thank you for joining tonight's show. I want to travel to Korea or Kyoto this year. Sounds great. K workshop. Yes, I want to travel to Thailand. I want to eat Thai foods there. Sounds great. Thank you for joining tonight's show. Uh, let's see. All right, Kan Mama says, yes, I want to travel to Taipei this year. Sounds great. Thank you for joining tonight's show, Kan Mama. Para mí, quiero viajar a Castelo de Himeji. Oh, typing is difficult. Yeah. Okay, KE says, definitely. I'm going to go to Perth in Australia. I've never been to that western part of Australia. Sounds great. Thank you for joining the show, KE. All right, so for me, I wrote para mí, for me, quiero viajar del castillo de Himeji. Castillo de Himeji, which means for me, I want to travel to Himeji Castle. All right. Um, yeah, I guess I could write that in English too, but it's okay. I think we have enough time. Um, if this is your first time joining the show, please feel free to share your ideas in the chat. All right, well, let's move on to the next section. So this time, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 私の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。So please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. My question was, do you want to travel to anywhere this year? Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. Mi pregunta es, ¿quieres viajar a algún lugar este año? 私の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書いてください。私の質問は、今年はどこか旅行に行きたいですか？ All right. So, I think, a good question, at least in Japanese, I could just, change the sentence after kotoshi wa. So, let's see. 今年は旅館に泊まりたいですか？ Do you want to stay at a Japanese inn this year? That's my new question. But please now please share your new question in the chat by changing my question. And anything is okay. Okay, Charmin says, "Do you want to go to hot springs this winter?" Nice idea, Charmin. Definitely. I definitely want to go to I want to go to a ski resort and then I want to go to a hot spring. That's it's one of my dreams for this winter. How about you, Charming? Do you want to go to hot springs this winter? Okay, Kan Mama says, "Who do you want to travel to anywhere with?" Great question. Um, and if you want to, instead of who do you want to, you could say, do you want to travel to anywhere with someone? Is okay too. But yeah, I definitely, for me, I want to travel to, anywhere with my family. But how about you, Kan Mama? Who do you want to travel to somewhere or anywhere with? I think in English, Hey Workshop says, "How many travels do you want to go this year?" I want to go as many as possible. Wow, you have a lot of energy, K Workshop. I respect that. KE says, "Do you want to try any new sports?" I want to try female soccer. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? It does. Yeah. Female soccer sounds nice. Um, yeah, I would say sounds great. Try, please give it a try. For me, hmm, I don't know. Um, uh, I'm a little busy to try a new sport right now, but someday I'd like to try a new sport too. Okay, great job, everyone. Let's move on to the next question of tonight's show, which is when. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, that's okay. So when you go to a new place, what do you like to do? In Español, cuando vas a un lugar nuevo, ¿qué te gusta hacer? 日本語で新しい場所に行ったら何をしたいですか？ So now, please write your answer in the chat. Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. チャットに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります. When you go to a new place, what do you like to do? Cuando vas a un lugar nuevo, ¿qué te gusta hacer? Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 新しい場所に行ったら何をしたいですか？チャットに答えを書いてください。地元の人たちと話したり飲んだりするのが好きです。 あなたはどうですか? Okay, K Workshop says, I want to take a walk when I go to a new place. Sounds great. As you can see from my answer, I said, I want to talk and drink with local people. Or I like talking and drinking with local people. How about you? All right, Takanona, thank you for joining tonight's show. When I go to a new place, I want to draw a picture. Sounds exciting, but for me, very challenging. I'm not, drawing pictures is very difficult for me. So I think for me, I'd like to take pictures when I go to a new place. Charming says, when I go to a new place, I want to try to eat local food. Sounds great. Nice idea. Me too. Me too. I love eating local food, talking to people, and drinking with people. Taking pictures of famous places, beautiful places. All right. Kan Mama says, I want to take photos when I go to a good place. Sounds great. Me too. Me too. Nowadays, I want to. I should say one more thing I want to do is relax and rest. Not all the time, but I want to take a good rest when I go to a new place too. All right. So, when you go to a new place, what do you like to do? Please write your answer in the chat. Cuando vas a un lugar nuevo, ¿qué te gusta hacer? 新しい場所に行ったら何をしたいですか? チャットに答えを書いてください。Sometimes I like to go shopping and buy some souvenirs too. It's always fun. All right. Well, if you're still typing, no problem. Please continue and you can share your idea anytime during the show. All right, but let's move on. Okay, before we move on, let's see. Hiromi Okada, thank you for joining tonight's show. I love Charming's answer, which was, I want to try to eat local food. Me too. Me too. Okay, well, let's move on. So now, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 私の質問を変更してチャットに新しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。All right. So please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. My question was, when you go to a new place, what do you like to do? Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. Mi pregunta es, ¿cuándo vas a un lugar nuevo? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? All right, Charmin says, thank you to Hiromi. Oh, very nice. All right, Takanona says, when you go to a new izakaya, what drink do you like to try? Great question. For me, I often drink shochu and nihonshu at home. So when I go to an izakaya, I love to drink beer first. Lots of beer, and then sometimes a highball or highballs, and sometimes wine. How about you, Takanona? 今、私の質問を変更して、チャットに新しい質問を書いてください。私の質問は、新しい場所に行ったら何をしたいですか？ Yeah, great question, Takanona. And if you have a question, if you have an idea, please share your idea in the chat. I think, Takanona's idea is very useful. Just change the place. Like when you go to something, what do you like to do? Or what do you like to drink? What do you like to eat? It's possible. I think a good question might be, when you go to an izakaya, what do you like to eat? Okay, K Workshop says, when you get lost in a new place, what do you do? Great question. For me, I love talking with people, so I like to ask people for help. How about you, K Workshop? What do you do when you get lost in a new place? I have an idea. I also ask people. Very nice. Mikata says, when you go to a new place, how do you make new friends / drink buddies? Great question. We talked about this at my lesson tonight. A great question. To ask someone is very simple. A simple question. Like, for example, do you like drinking? Do you like drinking? Do you often drink here? I think an easy question is sometimes the best question to make new friends or drink buddies. Okay, well, great job, everyone. Nice work. Let's move on. Okay, Kan Mama's got an idea. When you go to a new outlet mall, what do you like to buy? Great question. No, my favorite outlet mall is the Karuizawa outlet mall, and my favorite shop is Essex. So I like to buy new running clothes and, if possible, shoes. How about you, Kan Mama? Okay, so let's move on to the last question of tonight's show, which is, my favorite way to travel is by train. How about you? Mi forma favorita de viajar es en tren. ¿Y a ti? 日本語で、私の一番好きな旅行方法は電車です。あなたは? Now, please write your answer in the chat. Escribe tu respuesta en el chat. チャットに答えを書いてください. You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります. My favorite way to travel is by train. How about you? Please write your answer in the chat. Okay, Workshop says, me too. I was a train maniac as a child. Wow. That's interesting. For me, as a child, I really wanted to fly in an airplane. That was my dream, was taking a trip, traveling by airplane. But after I moved to Japan, I like to travel by train now. But yeah, that's cool. Very nice. Nice idea, K-Workshop. Mi forma favorita de viajar es en tren. Y a ti, escribe tu respuesta en el chat. 私の一番好きな旅行方法は電車です。あなたはチャットに答えを書いてください。All right. Take Agnor, thank you for joining tonight's show. I also like traveling by train. Very nice. Kan Mama says, my favorite way to travel is by airplane, not LCC. Okay. Yeah, airplane. I love traveling by airplane too, but living in Guma, traveling by airplane is a little bit inconvenient. The airport is pretty far away. All right, Hiromi Okada says, my husband and my favorite way to travel is using a rent-a-car in Europe and Hawaii. All plans were up to us. Wow. Yeah, that is definitely the good point, if you use a car, you don't need to worry about like what time the train leaves, what time the last train is. So a car is very convenient. Takanona says, I also like train travel because I can enjoy the scenery and sleep when I get tired. Yes, me too. I love sleeping or resting on the train. Mama says, I think so too. Next one. Okay. So right now we're talking in Spanish. Mi forma favorita de viajar es en tren. Y a ti, escribe tu respuesta en el chat. Charmin says, I like bus tour. Nice. Yeah, one of my students told me, recently he's taking more bus tours and he really likes it too. So that's great. 私の一番好きな旅行方法は電車です。あなたはチャットに答えを書いてください。All right. Well, if you're still typing, please continue and you can share your idea anytime during the show. But let's move on to the last section of tonight's show. Before that, KE says, I don't mind taking any transportation as long as I'm with my boyfriend. Wow. How romantic. That's very romantic. Yeah, that's great. And yeah, I think, if with a boyfriend or a good friend, wife, child, traveling can be very fun. So that's great. I'm happy to hear that. Okay, so in the last section of tonight's show, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. Escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat modificando mi pregunta. 私の質問を変更してチャットに正しい質問を書いてください。You have 4 minutes. Tienes 4 minutos. 4分間あります。Now, please write a new question in the chat by changing my question. My question was, my favorite way to travel is by train. How about you? Ahora, escribe una nueva pregunta en el chat, modificando mi pregunta. Mi pregunta es, mi forma favorita de viajar es en tren. ¿Y a ti? 今、私の質問を変更して、チャットに新しい質問を書いてください。私の質問は、私の一番好きな旅行方法は電車です。あなたは？ So, as I always say, please feel free to write and share any kind of question in the chat by changing my question. So, doesn't have to be way, I love to talk about resting. So, I might say like, my favorite place to rest is my bed. How about you? All right, Charmin says, my favorite way to eat egg is sunny side up. How about you? Great question. I love eggs, so I love sunny side up. I love over easy. I love boiled. And recently, my favorite way to eat eggs is onsen tamago. So maybe you could say softly boiled eggs. I love onsen tamago. Great question, Kanmama. All right, so I'm gonna write for me rest. 私の一番好きな場所、difficult. All right, Takanona says, my favorite meal is the ben I eat on the train. How about you? Great question. Great question. That's a not easy one for me to answer. Charmin says, onsen tamago is very tasty. I think so too. Oh, wow. That's difficult. Japanese and Spanish is difficult for me, so I'm going to just use English. My favorite place to rest is my bed. How about you? Okay, Kan Mama says, my favorite movie is Mission Impossible. How about you? Great question. Nice work, Kan Mama. If you're typing, please continue. KE says, my favorite thing to do over the weekend is working out at the gym. Wow, that's fantastic. For me, I'm not so big into working out at the gym, but I used to love working out at the gym. So that's great. All right, I'm gonna share my last idea. My favorite place to rest is my bed. I think I've said that before, but it's one of my favorite sentences. Okay, so that's the end of tonight's show. Ese es este final del programa de esta noche. Why? Oh, thank you for joining the show. Please rest well. I hope you feel better soon. Kore de Konya no programu wa owari desu. Thank you very much for studying and using languages with me. Muchas gracias por estudiar y usar idiomas conmigo. 一緒に言語を勉強して使ってくれてどうもありがとう。Our next show will be Let's Speak English, Deutsch, Nihongo live on Thursday at 8:30. My pleasure, Hiromi. Thank you for joining. And Takanona, thank you too. De nada. And then we will have Eikawa Live with Study Buddy on Sunday at 8:30. And Let's Speak English, Español, Nihongo Live will be next Tuesday at 8:30. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe and give the show a big thumbs up. I hope everyone has a great night. Espero que todos tengan una noche maravillosa. 皆さんも素晴らしい夜をお過ごしください。See you next time. Nos vemos pronto. また近いうちに会いましょう。So have a good night. Bye.